The legacy of Dr. José Gregorio Hernández has transcended not only as the illustrious doctor, scientist, and professor, but also because he was the founder of the National Academy of Medicine, right here in these very halls and with this chair, the 28th, as a full member.
And he brought the first new modern microscope to Venezuela. There were some before, but he brought a much more modern microscope, and he conducted studies in microbiology, bacteriology, and both normal and abnormal histology.
The merits of the Doctor of the Poor also extend to the experimental sciences, pathological anatomy, as well as the country's first laboratory where the initial studies in bacteriology were carried out, marking the birth of the bachelor's degree in bioanalysis. It is precisely these hallways where we now find ourselves that Dr. José Gregorio Hernández walked so many times during his days as a student at the Central University of Venezuela, today the National Academy of Medicine. And precisely because he graduated with the highest honors, those studies allowed him to go abroad and later return to Venezuela from Europe to establish in these very spaces the chairs of microbiology, bacteriology, and experimental medicine.
In fact, the chairs were established at the Central University of Venezuela, and the first laboratory in Venezuela was created there to study the bacteria that were being discovered at the time. This laboratory operated in the annex building of the Palace of the Academies. Some remnants of that first laboratory can still be found there, and it was managed by Bachelor Rangel. So Bachelor Rangel was a subordinate in terms of hierarchy to Dr. José Gregorio Hernández. That is why Bachelor Rangel is considered today the father of bioanalysis in Venezuela.
José Gregorio Hernández also marked a before and after because in the 20th century, together with a group of colleagues, he renewed medicine in Venezuela through their research, their theories, and their procedures for the founding of the National Academy of Medicine on April 7, 1904, by an organic law of the Congress of the United States of Venezuela, along with doctors Luis Razzetti, Francisco Antonio Risquez, and Antonio Machado, professors at the Central University of Venezuela.
That is why the National Academy of Medicine is a direct offspring of the Central University of Venezuela, because its first 35 full members were from the faculty of the Central University of Venezuela. There are many more, like Acosta Ortiz, who was called the Prince of Surgery in Latin America. Not just in Venezuela, he held seat with it in Trin, which I am honored to occupy at this moment in the National Academy of Medicine.
Although 106 years have passed since the legacy of the Trujillo-born doctor who lived through historic challenges such as the devastating Spanish flu, Dr. José Gregorio Hernández's scientific method remains relevant today.
Taking into account the time that has passed from 1888 to the present, José Gregorio continues to be a pillar of Venezuelan medicine because of his dedication to study, his perseverance, his interest, and his desire to stay up to date.
As part of the tributes to the Doctor of the Poor, 2025 was declared the year of canonization of José Gregorio Hernández, a human heritage site of the National Academy of Medicine. Diana Vázquez, Noticias, Venevision.